I want more Bitcoin. Like,
Exactly.
who cares if America has more Bitcoin? Americans might care. Maybe the administration cares, but especially as a non-American, I'm like I want me to have more Bitcoin. My family have more Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin is for the people, not for the governments, right? And so Trump and his crypto people have stopped the assault on the industry. And so we are free to build and educate and do whatever we want, right? For now. And so that's a huge win. And yeah, quite frankly, I don't really care if they buy Bitcoin or not. I think there's a significant case to be made that it's better if they don't, because Bitcoin is for us, right? We don't need to empower the governments. Let's shrink them and move on.
Absolutely. By the way, I don't know about the administration of government and stuff like that, but who came into office? FinCEN? Is this like a financial security, like a police or something?
Yeah, basically it's the financial police. So FinCEN is a department under the Department of Treasury. And this is the department, it's one of the largest chunks of the US government, and they regulate, they do all of the regulation of money and, regulatory, all of the regulations around money and finance and the intersection with tech, it all falls under them. And there's a post, I'll have to pull up a post that I made examining the budgets of like the IRS, FinCEN, CFTC, the Department of Treasury. The Department of Treasury is this massive piece of the federal government. And so they're the ones that are responsible for implementing the BSA, the Bank Secrecy Act, all of the AML, the global AML laws that require that we KYC, there's KYB and KYT being built into all these different systems that people don't even know about. This all comes down from the Department of Treasury, and FinCEN is their enforcement arm. So they were basically just looking for a reason to either fine us or shut us down. I mean, that's what they do.
So they wanted to shut down self-custody under the Biden administration, and that stopped with the Trump election.
That is the path that they were on. And there's a lot of supporting rules and regulation that was out there. And people get mad when I say this online, and, because they say, well, you can't shut down self-custody. And that is true. But what you can do is say, this is illegal. And if we know that you're doing it, we're going to put you in jail. You can say, if you buy your Bitcoin on an exchange, you are only allowed to send it off of the exchange to a white labeled address that we know who controls it. And that was how they were going to do it, by the way. So there's these little tiny pieces that can be controlled. I mean, if your bank doesn't want you to buy pizza, sounds absurd, right? All they have to do is make a list of pizza stores and say, you're not allowed to transact with this list of vendors. And guess what? The only way to get pizza is black market pizza. But by and large, it becomes very difficult to get pizza, right? And so the government is very creative. They're not that smart, but they're very creative. And when they want to shut something down, they can. And so, of course, there is always a way. And of course, people who are highly technical and hell-bent on getting their coins into self-custody or already having them there and not complying with future regulation, of course, they were always going to be able to do that. But those were not the people that I was speaking to, right? I'm talking about everybody else. I'm talking about your parents, your family, your grandmas, your friends that work in other industries that are not that technical, who are just trying to save in money that's not inflated away into oblivion. These people are not going to, take the extremely technical steps that it would require to get around the rules that were going to be put in place.
And yeah, I mean, there's this argument of like, oh, like in China, there's also still Bitcoin, but it's different. Like, yes, you can buy Bitcoin or some OTC desks or whatever. I never did that, but I heard it from other people that it's possible and that the volumes actually are not that bad for the regulations that are there.
Right.
But I much prefer that Bitcoin isn't illegal and that Bitcoin is actually normalized in society, and that I can actually talk about it and people don't look at me like a truck dealer. so like that we don't want a hostile environment, even though yes, Bitcoin might not care because in other countries it will be better, but you might care and your family might care, and all your people in your country might care because they actually might benefit a lot from a friendly Bitcoin regulation and not a hostile Bitcoin regulation. So I think Bitcoiners should not be afraid or should not be too arrogant to be not in politics. Like maybe it was not clear, but like it's like people sometimes in Bitcoin is like, I don't care about politics, someone else should do it, or like politics doesn't matter. It's like that's a kind of an almost an arrogant way of saying like someone else should do it, and I'm above the law, I'm above politics, I'm above that. Like you're not that above it. Yes, you can flee the country. Yes, Bitcoin is self custody. If you have it in your brain, they cannot take it from you. But do you really want to live like that? Is that really the life you want to have?
Yeah. It's fascinating. This is so fascinating to me because maybe when I was younger and more naive, like I very much fell into the trap of, I don't want to be involved in politics. I've got my "Don't Tread on Me" sign here. I was involved in the Tea Party movement in DC and really wanted nothing to do with politics. My involvement with the Tea Party was like, shut down the government, like leave us alone, get out of here. But as I got older and had all these experiences and lived in other countries and came back and came to work in the Bitcoin industry, and of course we all went through COVID, one thing that became very, very obvious is like, if we don't participate in making the rules and regulations that govern our societies, then we're going to be governed by rules and regulations made by people who hate us. And I don't want to live in that situation. Who wants to live in that situation? And there is this fine line that you reference, like, oh, we don't have to follow the rules and we can just leave and whatever. But like, you leave enough places, you neglect local rules and regulations in enough places and just keep leaving, and then there's nowhere to go. Where are you going to go? And sure, you can go live off grid and in some place, and maybe we'll all do that one day. But we have friends and families and communities, and I don't want to leave them behind to be governed by communists. Like, so I have come to think the psyop was actually convincing people that it didn't care, that it didn't matter if they cared, and that it was cool not to care. And, you're stupid and lame and ha, you think voting matters, and ha, you want to participate in structuring the rules and regulations that we have to live under. Like, but there is no ha. Like the ha is, oh, you want to be governed by the people making the rules that hate you. Like it only requires a little bit of common sense to say like, actually, we should probably be involved in this.
So you've heard Bitcoin is the new gold rush by now. As world leaders on all sides have endorsed it as the future of money, and now you're looking to get started, we'll show you how. It's actually easier than you think. First, go to your nearest Byte Federal ATM and turn your cash to coin. Byte Federal has over 1,200 locations around the country with the highest daily limits. Go to our website, bytefederal.com, to find the nearest ATM to you. Log in to any wallet, then create an account, deposit your US cash, and instantly convert it to Bitcoin. That's it. We are the only US manufacturer and operator in the Bitcoin ATM industry, and our US-based live customer service is second to none. Go on, give it a whirl, and don't get left behind. Click the link below.